Well, hello and welcome. Today we are talking through week number 10 and 11 of my weight loss journey. So this is choosing to do a weight loss journey and now being 10, 11 weeks into it. If you are new to this, go back and look at the list of episodes and you'll see a bunch of them called Lyn's Weight Loss Journey, week 0, week 1, week 2, etc. This is the report up for week 10 and 11. We're lumping 2 weeks together because I did a very human thing. We've been really good at reporting out and tracking everything for all these weeks. Good success. Down, 17 pounds now? But then decided it is time to take off a few more training wheels and to try to do a full 9-day vacation. It was actually 9.5, so I'm just going to call it 10-day vacation without tracking any food, without packing any food, where everything that was eaten came from a restaurant or a cafe or delivery, and where my typical exercise routine was also completely thrown off, and it was just, walking and the movement of the being a tourist. So usually this is wrought with all kinds of things that cause all kinds of weight gain, and we're going to talk through what happened in this couple of weeks. And I'm going to give you the punchline at the beginning because I want you to be able to filter this all through your mind. What happened? Okay. At the end of the 2 weeks, so I had a 3-day weekend with a friend, and then a 9-day weekend, 10-day, we're going to call it 10 days with my son in Washington, D.C. Yeah. July 4th week in Washington, D.C. It was so great. Mother-son trip. My heart, it melts. Oh. So much gratitude there. I tell you. And tears because I'm an empty nester now, but it's okay. I'm working through it. Life. Here's the data. Here's the stats that I want you to have. At the start of this 2 weeks on June 26th, the scale had me at 165.2. At the end of the 2 weeks on July, July 10, the scale had me at 164.4 for a net loss of 0.6 pounds over 2 weeks. So you could look at that, just those 2 weeks, and if you looked at just the scale numbers, you could say that's essentially no loss. It's essentially staying the same. But if you look at what I did during the week with 10 days of eating out in restaurants, the fact that the scale maintained was freaking remarkable. So we're going to talk through that. So I want you to know this is what I did so you can know, okay, and she maintained for those 2 weeks. I have an average weekly loss over the 11 weeks now. So if you take over 11 weeks and averaged it out, 1.6 pounds a week loss, which is, I think, feels awesome, with a grand total loss now of 17.6 pounds over 11 weeks. I am super duper happy with this right now because it just is sustainable. It feels like this is doable. So let's go into what we did over the last couple of weeks and what this looked like for me. So first of all, one thing that really happened that made this successful for me for the travel for the week is I had been doing so much tracking of what I eat and really looking at what kind of meals can I put together that I enjoy to eat, that I can know and trust this meal is going to be within the nutritional needs that my body has, because that's super, super important. Which meal is going to give me the protein and the fat and the fiber that my body needs. That's really good, healthy stuff that I actually enjoy to eat. And so I had been doing that for 2.5 months, got myself to a point where I now have a small handful of meals that I really enjoy. And we talked about those in previous weeks. So go back and listen to those if you haven't heard it. So I've got that where I no longer feel compelled to track every single thing I eat because I've got enough baseline and confidence that I know what my body needs and how to do it. So I took that information. This is where it gets really interesting. I had that information in my arsenal to take with me on vacation so that when it came time to order meals, I knew about what I was looking for. Now, even with all of that, there's still, Washington, D.C. is super humid and just kind of a little bit of a death march when you're out on the city streets of Washington, D.C. in the summer. Oh my gosh. My son and I, we were talking about how you go into the museums of Washington, D.C. and you're checking, the cool stuff out. We saw the Declaration of Independence. How cool is that in our Constitution and our Bill of Rights? And we got to go into the Supreme Court. We did like a lot of that quintessential tourist stuff in DC. But when you get on the sidewalks, the heat is so humid and hot and the concrete is so relentless that we felt like we're like, as soon as you go outside, you're in a video game and you've got your little measurement on the video game that measures how much life you have left in you. And that life meter is going pew, 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 pew. Like you got to get back in or you're going to die. So anyhow, that's an aside. So that helped. A couple of things that really helped too. Restaurants. A lot of restaurants that we ordered from had their calories listed on the menu items. So I knew that if I went for something that had protein and some veggies, but mostly I was looking for protein because that's like trying to go to a restaurant. We went to California Pizza Kitchen, trying to go to California Pizza Kitchen and be like, I want protein and veggies. The only thing you get is a salad that makes you sad, and I don't want to eat a cold salad that's going to make me sad. I don't know, maybe salads don't always make you sad in a restaurant, but they do me. So the calories, you could look at the calories and decide from there. Another thing that was super helpful that I thought was a little weird is for example, the California Pizza Kitchen, they had their huge menu. And then they had this really cute little menu that they literally called the Skinnylicious menu. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to be that woman who gets the Skinnylicious menu, picks it up, and is like, I would like this one, but can you make sure it's from the Skinnylicious menu? It was actually great. We went there twice. You're traveling with a teenager. There's only so much nice dining. California Pizza Kitchen is great. It's totally great, but it's a chain and it's heavy on the sugar and fat and salt and everything. And not California Pizza Kitchen. Sorry, we did go there too. Cheesecake Factory had their Skinnylicious menu. And one slice of cheesecake most of them had 1,000 calories in it. Like, holy crap. Okay, so I digress. The Skinnylicious menu, that was super helpful because I knew that if I was eating protein and veggies or protein in a marinara sauce or something like that, and if I knew that if my calories were in the ballpark of 500, that I knew I was in the ballpark. I knew I would be getting enough food. I knew I wouldn't be going hungry. I would probably eat the whole thing. And then at the end, feel like I probably could eat more, but I would feel fine. And then an hour or two later, I'd feel totally great and I wouldn't be stuffed. So that was super helpful. Another piece that was super helpful was the fact that I've been on this getting the sugar out of my house train. And when I say get the sugar out of my house, I'm not talking fruits. I'm not talking oranges, apples, bananas, smooth that. I'm not talking about that, and berries. I'm talking about processed sugars in foods. Gotten rid of that so much that when we were at the Cheesecake Factory, I used to love their white chocolate raspberry cheesecake. Oh, I used to just love it. Now my palate, my gut, my habits have changed so much so that I had decided I'm on vacation. I'm going to do the cheesecake. And after I ate my lunch, I actually didn't crave or really want the cheesecake. And so I didn't order it. So that was super helpful. Another super helpful thing is my son, 19, he's gotten on this bandwagon also, not bandwagon, he's gotten the habit also of not really eating much sugar. And so he wasn't ordering cheesecake, even though I would have ordered it for him. So lots of things that were really super supportive there in the food. Okay. This week at DC, I also had pizza for lunch or dinner at least 4 times. And it was fabulous. Monday, when we got there, I overate pizza, but I think I was hungry from a couple of days of high mileage walking. And when I ate and overate the pizza, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stuffed. Oh, I overate. Oh, I'm going to have to come back on this podcast and tell everybody how I overate pizza and look at what the scale did. Here's the weird thing. That was Monday evening. Tuesday morning, I wasn't hungry. I wasn't hungry at all. I skipped breakfast. I had a latte with milk mid-morning. We didn't even eat lunch till 3 p.m. and I was totally fine. And so like that was super cool. So my lesson here is, in that case, intuitive eating worked for me. Even though I had the pizza, my gut, my hormones, my body the next day said, hey, you're good. You don't need to eat more. Now, if I had a typical diet of lots of sugar all the time, then that throws things off. That throws off insulin. That makes us starving. It makes us hungry. And because I really believe that because I hadn't had that going on, then the next morning my body was like, yeah, you're okay. And that was super, super, super exciting. Another thing while traveling that really enabled this, and this is, I'll just tell you my experience and I won't tell you whether or not I think this is realistic for you. You got to decide for your own self. Because I am actively on this weight loss journey, I did do one thing that may not be super sustainable long-term. And that was, I did not drink in DC at all. 0 alcohol when I was with my son in DC. Couple of success things that enabled it. One, it was just me and a 19-year-old. We couldn't even go to a bar if we wanted to. In fact, there was a July 4th party I really wanted to go to. It was a rooftop party at the hotel we were at, where you could be on the 10th story, 10 or 11 stories up, right by the White House, rooftop view of the fireworks for the 4th of July. And I really wanted to, that was going to be a splurge we were going to do. And they're like, sorry, 21 and up. And I was like, but, nope, sorry. I'm like, are you sure? I even asked, can you adjust the party so you have a little section where legally you can have a 19-year-old there who's not drinking? And they're like, nope. So I was not around alcohol. And Washington, D.C., as a tourist during the day, going to museums, checking out the monuments, it is not an alcohol-centered city during the day like that. Now, I did none of the nightlife. And again, I was with my son, so I wasn't down in the lobby in the bar or anything like that. So that, for me, really helped enable it. If I was on a vacation with friends or another adult, I probably would have been more tempted. I would have wanted a glass of wine with dinner or, cocktail or something like that. Or on the weekend, a couple of cocktails. I mean, that's just, probably what I would have liked to have done. So I am taking that thought of, this is a really great success. I'm going to take it. But that thought of someday, if I go on vacation and I'm not with minors, do I want to drink more? I may want to. And so I know that's a piece of that I haven't figured out, exactly how that works. With all that said, I am loving my life of drinking hardly anything. Because I wake up in the morning, I feel good. There is no hangovers. There weren't headaches. There weren't it felt good, and we were able to go. So that was a piece that helped support it. And it would be really easy for a naysayer in my life to come and say, oh, who is Lynn? Look at this. She's got this vacation and she's like so easy. She doesn't have all the challenges. Let me tell you, it has been a hell of a lot of work to get me there. And getting me there has forced me to adjust some of my friendships. It's forced me to adjust relationships in my life. It's for all kinds of things. It's been huge. And it's taken me years and years to get myself there. So I don't want, I have a little hesitation in that I don't want to say, wow, look at me. I'm all pious. I'm all amazing. I'm so awesome because I have all this in my life set up to support me. But I am going to stand up tall with my heart held high and my eyes wide open and say, hey, this was a ton of work. This was intentional. This did not just drop into my lap. And I had 3 years of not even being able to touch something like this to be able to get myself to a place where I could do this. And I recognize I don't have it all figured out for my life because my life isn't perfect. It never will be perfect. And I don't want it to be perfect. Whew. Okay. With all of that said, I am happy to see that there is a path for me to get to where I could do 2 full weeks without writing down and tracking my food. 2 full weeks where a lot of it was travel and eating out in restaurants. And the scale stayed at what you would call maintenance, right? So if I said, okay, I'm done losing weight, I am just going to focus on my health and my strength now and not try to get that number on the scale to go down. I essentially did 2 weeks of that where I ate at maintenance. And so the scale didn't go up. Here's a couple things. The yeah. So lots and lots of salt always when we eat out. Eating out is full of super high salt. Plus, I could feel my hands. They felt stiff and swollen, like even the rings on my fingers. They were like, I had to move one ring to another hand because it was just like my hands were swollen and it was from all the salt. So I am really, really curious to see if next week's report out, week 12 report out, I'm really curious to see. My hypothesis is there will actually be a big drop in the scale because I did maintain, but I also had maintain weight, but I also had so many things that would increase weight, but not fat, not actual weight, but like water retention, inflammation. That my hypothesis is that next week when I'm home, completely empty nester, I don't have any friends scheduled to come by. I don't have any like whining, dining, nothing like that. Just doing my regular old life, my regular old new empty nester life, all, on my own. My hypothesis is the inflammation will come down from the stress of the travel. My salt will go down to more of a normal level. So I'll see a lot of water. I'll probably be peeing all day. See a lot of water come out of my body. And I'll go back into my habits. I'm going to actually track next week everything I eat, back into those healthy calorie deficit with health and nutrition habits. And my guess is we'll see a big drop in the scale. I don't know. We might not. We're human beings. We're not robots, but we might not. Here's the crazy mind trick thing. So my grand total lost so far in 11 weeks is 17.6 pounds. That means I have a shot of making the 20-pound mark next week. If I have a big drop because of salt and fluid retention, blah, 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 all those things, I have a shot at hitting that 20-pound mark. I have come to a stronger and stronger opinion for myself about the scale. And as you do this journey, you'll want to come with your own opinion about what the scale means for you. I started this journey 10, 11 weeks ago with some trepidation around the scale, in part because I've been so invested in the body positive movement, loving yourself where you're at. And that is all wonderful and good. And I think it needs to happen. It's hard work, loving your body wherever you are, no matter what. However, much of that body positive movement has demonified the scale and has been almost militant to say that if you ever weigh yourself, there is something wrong with you and you're an evil person if you use a scale and you are bought into society's standards. I have decided that for me, that is complete BS. For me, the scale has been a very valuable tool that is simply a data point, one of many ways to help keep me grounded. So I've got the scale, I've got feeling stronger, I've got how much I'm napping, I've got how much my fibromyalgia hurts me or doesn't hurt me on any given day. I've got how my collagenous colitis is or isn't acting up. I've got all these things, and I've got how my clothes are fitting. Like, it is freaking obvious. My clothes are fitting looser. So I've got all of those things, and the scale, definitely, I would not want to give up the scale as a tool to use. It's been super helpful. And if you've been listening to all these, you know we talk about the scale all the time. And what does it mean? What does it mean? What does the scale mean? And that's an important piece that I think I've really come to. We'll see if that changes a little more or develops more. But for me, scale good. Scale good in context. Yeah. There we have it. I'm Lyn Lindbergh. This is Couch to Active. If this is your first episode, go back, listen to a whole bunch more, and just get the bigger picture of what's going on here and grab those nuggets that will help you get along on your own similar journey. It'd be my honor to help you. Head on over to couch2active.com and reach out, and we will get you up and running on your journey in a way that makes you smile and honors the awesome and important things you have going on in your life also. Couch2active.com. See you there.